Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 16th meeting of the Needham Commission on Disabilities. We will begin with a welcome to our guests who have been here before, Lynn Rodman, who has expressed an interest in becoming a member of Commission on Disabilities, and Kalpana. Welcome again to our meeting. I do want to mention briefly that Carol and I met yesterday on Zoom with another person who has expressed an interest in becoming a member. So she has, her first name is Sarah. I've forgotten her last name.
Yep, connected through Karen. Thank you, Karen. Yep.
And
Nachasik. Yeah,
Nachasik,
Nachasik.
yes.
yeah. So there will be interviews coming for both Lynn and Sarah, I think late May, early June.
Yep.
We're very excited about that.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, is Sarah DeSalt the other one?
Nope.
She was in.
Karen Nachasik.
Nachasik, yep.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. There's another, one of my neighbors was interested. I will text her. She was waiting
Wow.
till. Do we have another opening? She's an accountant. So she was like, I need to wait till, after like tax
Well,
season.
I would encourage everyone who's interested to apply.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that.
Not discouraging anyone.
Okay, great.
We're checking on the numbers.
Yep.
For our commission, which currently we believe is 9, but there may be room for expansion, so we're not sure.
Yep.
We're checking on that.
It's good
Okay.
to have a backup, you know, it's good to
Yes.
have a backup.
Mhm.
It's wonderful to have so much interest. We're very excited about that.
Yep.
So we will move on to the reading of the minutes from April 25th. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not reading the minutes anymore. Sorry.
We
Old
did-
habits. Did everyone get a chance to read them? And if you have any corrections or changes, please speak up now.
I just have
I
a
did-
correction to, oh, sorry, Alexa.
I was just gonna say, I did receive 2 corrections via email. One was I misspelled your name in one spot, Tatiana,
That was mine.
inadvertently. And then Jean had also shared that inadvertently I listed the wrong affiliation for David Correa. He's actually with the Metro West Center for Independent Living. So I've made those 2 corrections, but is there anything else?
Not from my perspective.
Okay, so I'll circulate the updated corrected version afterwards.
Terrific. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes with those 2 corrections?
I make a motion to accept the minutes with those 2 corrections.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I
Opposed?
Jeannie, a reminder that you're in Zoom, we have to call out each member's vote by name.
I'm sorry?
You have to call out each member's vote by name, so like Carol.
For every vote now?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something new, that's new?
No, it's not new. We just haven't been doing it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
because we think outside the box.
That's right. That's right. We're much more efficient. We're like all in favor.
Okay, Alexa, are you in A or nay?
Yes, I vote yes to approve.
Karen,
Yay.
Babs,
Yay,
Maureen,
Yay.
Tatiana, and Carol.
yes.
Okay, those are our voting members. Thank you. It passes.
And the chair votes yes too?
Say that?
You vote yes too?
I'm
Yeah, don't
sorry,
forget
yes.
yourself. Yes.
Okay. Moving on. Next up is an update on the concern from a resident about the access at Landry's.
Oh, yeah, I looked at that.
Now I'm thinking, oh, that's right. I called it Langley mistakenly. It is Landry's
Landry.
bicycle in Needham.
Mhm.
So I was in touch, as I mentioned before, with David Correa of Metro West Center for Independent Living. He did go out last week. He called me from the parking lot and he discussed what he sees as recommended changes.
Mm.
Unfortunately, well, there are 4 spots at Panera Bread. If you can think of it's a long, I don't know what the right word is. There are 4 spots that are closer to Panera. There are continuing spots that abut the sidewalk going down towards Landry's, but right now all 4 accessible spots are in front of Panera. 2 of them have signs. 2 of them don't. So David pointed out that that was in violation. They have them sort of designated, but one of them has a very faded accessible wheelchair on the pavement, and the 4th one has nothing. So he started by saying at a minimum, they have to put signs in the other 2 spots. But he would recommend that they split the spots, keep 2 close to Panera and move 2 further down the other end of the front of the building that would put them closer to the
Landry's.
Landry's bicycle entrance. That's what he would recommend. But to move those 2 spots, that would require curb cuts at the site, at the spot where the new accessible spaces are. But he thought that was the best solution. So I conveyed all this in a email to the owner of the lot, whose name is Mike Moskowitz. And it took a day or 2, but he did respond, and here is what he said. Oh, I also mentioned to him that we have signs available at a discount so that, encouraging him to get those sooner rather than later. And that I mentioned that, our preference would be, as David said, is to separate the 4 spots so that 2 are closer to Landry. And he said the following: "Thank you for pointing out the deficiency with the signs. I will have 2 signs installed. We are also seal coating the parking lot so the HP logos will be much more visible. I am not interested in moving 2 handicap spots to the Landry side of the parking lot. Not only would it require us to spend money on new curb cuts, it would require us to appear before the planning board as they control any changes to the property. I will let you know when the signs are installed." Now, I have a couple of questions. Tatiana, is that your understanding? And Kelly, maybe you know also that they would have to appear before the planning board to make changes in the accessible spots? Is that right?
I have no knowledge of planning and designing lots. I'm sorry, I can't.
I
help
know
you.
that from Westwood, my friend owns a shopping plaza and a restaurant, and needing to make changes to handicap parking spots caused all sorts of can of worms to get opened with their planning board in Westwood, which is its own challenge, but it led to a lot of issues and a lot of demands. So I know that a lot of property owners don't want to do that because it can be like, oh, now you've got to beautify the lot and add planter beds and add a flag, and it can become multiple tens of thousands of dollars.
So, can I say, I think like Panera Bread, there are a lot of people that go in and out to eat there, a lot of people. And I see more people with, that be having issues walking and with mobility and would benefit from the assets going into Panera Bread as opposed to the bike place. The bike place is very, how do you say, low incidence of people that go there.
Mhm.
I mean,
I would
is
agree
that
with
being, I don't know if I'm being prejudiced that way.
Right, but the complaint that we
Or I
had,
don't know if I'm being politically correct.
No, it seems fair.
but the complaint that we had came from somebody that was going into Landry's.
Right. I do believe planning board would need to be consulted. I'm unsure as to the process, and I will confirm that, but I do believe that they would need to be involved.
So I'm not
Okay.
sure there's much that we can do if that's
No.
the choice he makes, and he would then be in compliance if he fixes the issues that we point out.
Right.
Maybe 1 and 3, maybe 1 HP spot in front of Landry's and 3 in front of Panera.
Well, that would still require
All of the issues
all of
that
the
you brought.
above.
Yeah.
I thought the issue was that he was crossing from one place to another, and I thought that there was a stop sign there, so cars just can't go zooming in, they have to stop before they
Right.
enter the parking
What
lot.
David said is, once these signs are up, that lot is in compliance, even though this particular person was uncomfortable, nervous, entering the store via that roadway. According to David, it is in compliance and we can't require him to make changes, except that he does need to have the accessible signs in all 4 spots. How do you suggest I respond to him?
I mean, I would say that you understand that you are expecting compliance by a certain day on the signs. I mean, I don't think the challenge that you have in commercial real estate right now is that everybody's occupancy rates are down. So making people spend extra money when they're losing money, hurts the businesses too. So I can see his point of view, like commercial real estate's down at like 50% some places.
Yeah.
Okay. And well, maybe I can just say if sometime in the future you might want to consider making some updates to your parking lot to make it.
Just outside of the box, like Bab said, could we offer some grant funding for that? Or, I mean, that kind of, I don't know if that qualifies.
Right. But like Bab said, I mean, maybe the 4 spots are more utilized, in front of Panera. So I'm not sure that, David is just coming in, not really as a user of that space, sort of recommending 2 and 2 just based on the parking lot. But I don't really know what would be most helpful to people. We could be creating a problem.
Maybe 1 and 3, 1 and 3, there should be, 1.
How much
because-
money do you think we're talking about for a curb cut?
Everything is so much more expensive that I could even venture, so.
Yeah.
You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, and
Oh,
if you're
forget
doing
it.
a curb, yeah,
Really?
because they'll also ask you to like repave or check the sewer things. Like you can't get those things approved, and it'll be a long, long, long process. So I understand the man being like, "There's no way I'm doing
Yep.
that."
Yeah,
Okay, well, I will make sure he knows that we do have signs, correct, Tatiana? We have
Yeah.
plenty.
with plenty of signs.
And what is the current cost?
I believe it's $25.
Okay. And I'm sure that's a big reduction from what he would have to get them in the general marketplace. I will respond with that and I will let David know. And I also need to get swing back around and talk to the person who filed the complaint. And unfortunately, let him know that we can't.
You know what you might be able to offer? Because I've had clients do this to myself because the owner of Landry's was so kind. Perhaps you can tell that gentleman that if he needs an escort from the car to get into the store, that he can call Landry's and they will send an employee out. So I get that if I can't get a parking spot at the nail salon downtown. They just like
Okay.
come to get me at the car. And they're
You
most
know,
of
that is a way of accommodating the request as well.
yeah.
So.
And then Landry's looks like the hero. And it probably is not going to be something that's overused. This man probably not going to go there every week. It's, maybe it'll like once a year.
Okay. All right, good suggestion. Okay,
What,
moving
just one
on.
question. What
Yes.
is a reasonable time frame that we would be looking for him to post the signs?
30 days if we could get him to him, right? Doesn't that feel
Yeah, I
fair?
think And certainly since we can say we have the signs available right now, 30 days seems very reasonable.
You want me to deliver them to the signs to them?
Oh, no, let him come into town hall.
Okay.
He did
I have
not,
to-
I had
have to do
mentioned that we
my-
have the signs to him and he didn't include that in his response. He just said, I'll get
I'll get signs.
signs
yeah.
up. So I don't know if he meant to get them from us or if he has another source. So
Mhm.
I'll find
He
out.
doesn't have to, we just offer it at a discount, but.
Yeah,
Actually trying to look, I think I saw them, but I know I have to do the little, receipt and everything for my
Okay.
stuff, but thank you for that, officer.
Mhm.
okay, next under chairperson's report is accessible trail visits and my fault, not Alexa's, that we have still not gone on our little field trip.
Yeah.
I've had a really busy couple of weeks and we're aiming for sometime in June. We'll get our report out to you.
Yeah, me too. I apologize. I've been really swamped too with babysitting.
Right.
So-
But we don't have a place to go yet, Babs, because we were gonna, David was gonna provide some feedback on this trail, which I don't think he has. Jeannie, should I follow up? In Natick?
Sure, maybe if you contact him directly.
Yeah, let me contact him directly because I cannot find the trail. I was all over their website. We could go to another town, but let me just ask him. So I'll do that, Babs, and keep you posted.
Okay.
Thank you, Carol.
Carol, do you have anything else for chairperson's report?
I do not.
Okay, we will now hear from Tatiana with the ADA liaison report.
Thank you. I don't have a big update, but I just wanted to ask Babs, did you get in touch or the town people get in touch with you about the transportation survey?
Yes, yes, that's under new business.
Yeah,
Well,
she's on the agenda at the end.
I'm under new
I'm going
business.
off script, I'm sorry. Just wanted to confirm. Yeah, so the only thing I had for my update is the self-evaluation and transition plan. As you know, the town engaged a consultant, Center for Human Design, to conduct a self-evaluation of the accessibility of most of our town buildings and the outskirts of the schools and some parks and recreation facilities, and provided us with a long list of improvements and suggestions that need to be addressed. Now, as far as how the town will implement the self-evaluation and transition plan, that's yet to come. We met as an internal group again last week. We've met with the consultant last week to determine, basically just have, because we were given different priorities for different things, and just to interpret what they meant by some of the observations and the findings. The report is still in draft, so it's not public knowledge yet. And then we also met internally to try to identify what is the implementation process going to look like. I don't have those answers yet. We're still trying to figure out. It's a huge project. It's overwhelming, and as you can imagine, bandwidth and financial man hours or staff hours and financially it's sort of a burden. So we have to try to figure out how we're going to tackle this. And but as soon as I have more information, I'll be sure to share it.
Great. Thank you.
I just want to also let you know the town is conducting 2 surveys, one on the transportation needs of the community and another one on the it's from the Arts and Culture Council. If you are so inclined, have a chance, we would love everyone's input on those 2 surveys. You can find them on our website and also on the News You Need Them. By the way, is everyone here signed up to receive that, the News You Need Them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good source of information, but we're asking committees to help us with that information. That's all I have.
Moving on, I guess we do not have a representative from the schools with us this evening. Accessible parking.
So that's Felix's.
That's Felix also. Any, Kelly, do you have any comments? Anything
I do
you've
not.
noticed?
I do not. Nothing new.
Okay. Diversity initiative.
Um, so I often cover that one, until we have somebody that will, pick that one up. So, I am just looking at their website now to see what is coming up. And I don't think I have anything other than, what I shared last time. There is the Race Amity Day, which is happening on June 11th, at the reservoir. And the Diversity Summit is on November 5th. So I think I have the action item, which I will do this evening, to reach out to see if there is a way for us to participate and see how they're building the program. So those are the two upcoming activities.
Before we move on, I forgot to mention one other thing. Tomorrow night, Carol and I are meeting by Zoom with Kevin Keene, who is the select board member who is assigned to the Commission on Disabilities for this year. They rotate every year. Last year it was Marcus. I was going to say Smart, but he's the basketball player. Nelson, thank you.
Yeah.
So we will be meeting with Kevin tomorrow night, giving him an overview of what NCOD does. I have opportunity for him to ask questions, but it's mostly for him to learn about who we are. So it's always good for the select board members to be better acquainted with our work. So that will happen tomorrow night. Are there any questions that any of you would want us to ask him as a select board member? Okay.
That also reminds me that Heidi, another select board member, which her name escapes me right now. But Heidi will have what we're calling office hours on Thursday, May 25th. And that's for all residents to connect with her and ask her any questions in particular. Doesn't have to be necessarily related to Commission on Disabilities. It could be about any aspect of living in Needham. From time to time, members of the select board will hold these open hours, office open hours for the community to reach directly to them. So that's on Thursday, the 25th, starting at 6 p.m. and those will be via Zoom.
Which member was that? I'm sorry.
Heidi, her name escapes me right now.
Frail. Heidi Frail?
Heidi Frail, thank you. I also wanted to call her Heidi Black, but I think she was a school committee member. I confused them.
Okay, on to local emergency planning committee. Maureen.
I went to the meeting. Again, it's not really relevant for our committee, but this one was all about, there was a guest speaker from the fire chief from Hingham, was talking all about the emergency response to the situation when that last November, there was a car driven through the Apple store window at the Derby Street shops in Hingham.
Yeah.
It was all about that emergency response and all the area teams coming together and the coordination and all that kind of stuff. So interesting to hear the inside scoop, but it didn't really, there's nothing kind of that I can relate to this committee necessarily.
Okay, well, thank you for attending those meetings.
Sure. I like going, but they sometimes aren't really necessarily relevant to our mission or anything, but still interesting.
Okay, Karen, do you have anything to report on the playground initiative?
My apologies. Both kids are sick and I'm trying to get them medicine during this meeting. Yeah, the Playground Commission or the Parks and Rec is tied up with opening the pool and dealing with summer camp staffing. So they are strapped right now. They will re-look at playgrounds and re-engage mid-summer once they're through the staffing and the operational challenges of pool and summer camps. So I have it in my calendar to get back to her mid-August.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Back to you, Maureen, for the Autism Alliance program. Now, you sent the brochure to Carol. Tatiana, did you get the brochure in an email today from Maureen? I'm wondering
I
if there's
sent
a way,
She sent it to the two of us. I've got it here. Yep.
do you
I
have a
just sent
way
it
of
to you.
sharing it, Carol?
I
do it?
do. Let me just pop it up.
I thought it was very interesting and very helpful for us.
Okay. So, okay, the brochure, got it. I just have to download it. Give me 1 second here. Okay, got it. Let me see. Can I share? If I can.
Be able to.
Okay. All right. So here is the brochure. So I don't know, Marie, if you can see this, if you want to say anything about it, but it talks about.
Sure.
Can you
Yeah, I
see?
had reached, not much to add other than what's on the brochure, but I had reached out to them a number of times, and then they reached out to me a number of times. It's really funny. I think they felt badly that somebody must have uncovered messages. But anyway, they do have a whole, it seems like they have structured this program now, so it's very much, it's in the can, so to speak. You can become a member, you can order this training, and they do it, they work with your company, they based on your needs and the size of your company and what you're looking to achieve, they create a training for all employees, which they do over Zoom, and that way they can record it and they can send it so that any employee who was not present can still receive the training that way. So, their goal is, as we've talked about before, to make small businesses, restaurants, places like that, that might have families coming in or people with autism coming in on their own, just to make it them a little bit more aware and welcoming, so that they're a little bit more tuned in to maybe sensory needs and things like that that might be an issue for, again, a child or an adult. So they offer the training. It's $500 for each company. It sounds like it might be a little bit flexible, but I think that's basically their going rate. So I know we had talked at our last meeting about, possibly promoting this, or maybe even offering possibly to cover the cost of it if there was a small business that might not be able to afford something like this. So that's kind of where we left things, and now we have more information to sort of look through and see if this is something we would want to do.
Is it true that there currently is no one in Needham who has gone through the training? Is that correct?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I went onto their website and they have a whole, you scroll way down and there's a lot of businesses that have gone through the training. Nothing jumped out at me as being a Needham business. No, but I could double check it.
I'm wondering if we can think of someone in Needham who we think would be a good place to start, and maybe we should reach out to them, to a specific company, business, restaurant, whatever.
What
And
about the chamber? The business, the Charles, I think it's called now the Charles River because it covers
Yes.
Watertown as
Yeah.
well.
We talked about possibly putting in, if they would put in a blurb about this to give it a little bit more promotion. I mean, it was in the Globe. We could link it to that article and link the flyer or something. Yeah, I mean, I certainly work with the chamber and know people there. So if we think that might be a good option, we could think about the messaging, and I could reach out to them, or Jean or Carol could. But
is there a particular business though that we think would be a great place for this to start, maybe as the trailblazer in Needham?
I'm thinking.
I could consult with the economic development manager to see if she has an idea.
I
I
think
would
that's
think
great.
a
Or is there any-
restaurant, right?
It could probably work for one of the restaurants that tends to have more kids. I mean, I know neurodivergent works, with any ages, but it feels like could be a nice thing for one of the restaurants that caters more to families in town.
Amy
And is it-
Holson is in contact with the vendors about different rural initiatives. She might have an idea of how we can approach this.
I know Ivan at Hearth Pizza is an incredibly active in all sorts of initiatives in town. He might be a good place to start.
And there's a lot of kids that go there.
Yeah.
So
What about the YMCA?
yeah, and that's what I was thinking, a Rosemary Pool, maybe even like a town. I don't know if we could do it,
I was
With the
thinking a town agency
Yeah.
that deals with lots of people coming in.
yeah, and the Y is a great idea as well.
Like the Park and Recreation Department.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know
So-
what training they have, but
What should our next step be then? What should we do?
So I can offer to contact the economic development manager. If someone can send me that,
I'm doing it now. I'll get it
okay.
to you.
I can offer to send it to the economic development manager to see if she has any ideas about either a business that we can approach directly, or maybe how to get it to businesses to see if there's any interest, or as a third option, the chamber. And then I can also approach the director of Park and Recreation to see if she would be interested for her organization, as they deal with children.
And is this
If
something
we
somebody could get a
approach-
grant for?
I'm
If
sorry.
if
I was
possible.
going to say, if we approach somebody directly, are we offering the possibility of a grant to cover the cost?
Right.
Almost like a pilot program?
I think we would need to refer them to apply to the grant and go through that process. And of course, the commission will have to vote on it and go through that motion, but I don't see why they wouldn't be able to apply.
Yeah, if funds were an issue, that they could apply for a grant. Yeah.
This fits specifically into the mission of the commission, so I think it would be really appropriate.
And send out a mailing to all the businesses too about this offering. And, it can come from us as opposed to the chamber.
I agree. So I think the chamber might be like a third, option to see if there's any other venues.
Yeah, and
Only because it includes like Needham and Newton and Watertown businesses. And even though it will be great to promote it with all of those communities, if it's
No,
a matter of us funding it, then it would only be Needham,
right.
Yeah, just need them.
Yeah. And Karen is good with, marketing concepts. I mean, maybe we could put it, in the news, you need them.
Yep.
I think,
Oh, there you go.
I think-
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could still tell that guy on Facebook. I know I always forget his name, the wonderful man that does the restaurant group, Glenn
yeah.
Molina. Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy.
Right. That he'd be a perfect person.
He's the
It's a-
perfect person because he might want like a win to, suggest
Yeah.
one of our brands.
Would you be willing to reach out to him, Karen?
Yeah, I will. Sure. Do you
Perfect.
have who has the link to the?
I'm gonna send it to you now.
Okay, perfect. Thank
I
you.
was gonna say.
I'm gonna send it to the whole committee, so we all have it. Yeah.
There we go.
Well, Maureen, I'm really glad you brought this to our attention, and I think this is really exciting if we can get this going in Needham.
too. I think so too. I mean, I was impressed with the number of businesses they listed on their website that have already received the training. There were a lot. And so I was glad to see that. I don't know how long it's been, it's been since they've launched this, but I know the Globe article was recent. It was like 3 months ago or something like that. So clearly it's been around a little bit longer, and the Globe promoted it or, shown the light on it. But I'm glad to see that there are a lot of restaurants in particular that did go through the training.
Great. And I think this is a good time of year to really push this initiative with school almost ending and all those kiddos being out and about, and making sure that places are welcoming for them. Great.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So we are,
And then I think Julie Muse Fisher had said that if we get a restaurant to do it, she's happy to promote it to the like special ed parent community. So maybe that's another kind of hook we
Yeah.
use. It's just a way for them to get kind of free publicity in a nice way.
yeah.
That's nice. Okay.
So we have to put on hold Felix's thoughts on working with the town building department. And that takes us to Babs, who volunteered to meet about this transportation survey. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're doing new business now. Okay.
Yes.
I met with Cathal O'Gorman, and the group that he's from is actually funded by the state of Massachusetts. Did you know that? The state of Massachusetts is funding this. And what is, he's part of the Needham Local Transportation Study Public Survey. And the purpose is to evaluate the town, the local public transit options, identify transportation gaps and needs, and if residents would use new service such as bus routes or ride sharing services. Okay, so it was a very informal meeting. Basically, I felt like he was asking me questions that were on the survey that we all filled out. Do you remember? Did you guys get the survey? So, and I also brought up in that like email that I sent you all the issues that I thought about, but like he would finish my sentences. He's way ahead as far as being up to code for accessibility. But I don't think he knew, one, I did bring up for the driver to use a microphone, and he liked that idea. So that was good. So that was good. And then, so he basically asked me the questions and, you know, I answered them. Basically, they're looking into 3 different types of, they're trying to find out exactly what the need is. So like, so would you want the traditional option of, you know, like a bus coming by every hour, or would you want to do like on demand, or would you want to do what's called a cash connect, where you would have an app where you could request a ride or, you know, call on the telephone? Which basically asked me what I thought would be best. I said all 3 because to include everybody's need.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that questions like how much I think it should be charging. I didn't give an answer to that. So that's basically it. You have any questions?
Thank you
No,
so much
good.
for doing that.
Well,
No,
what
good.
what do they plan to do with all this information?
I guess they're gonna, you know, make a presentation to the selectmen.
They're working with a consultant to try to identify ways in which to improve transportation in Needham, not only for its residents, but also for people visiting. Yeah, commuters, even staff, you know. So it's part of a long range planning for improvement transportation in town.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
Who was it that you met with? I'm sorry, just for the notes.
His name is Cathal. I can spell it for you. Cathal, and then it's O'Gorman. So capital O apostrophe capital GORMAN. And yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they come out with. He was also asking, like, because I said I drive a car, would you use the, you know, any of these options, even though you drive a car? So that's going to be interesting when the survey comes out, because I sent out, he asked me to send out surveys to people because they could use a lot more, many more. And I got some feedback from some of my friends saying I drive a car, so I'm not interested in this. So they're also going to see like how many people actually would use this, you know, would benefit from this.
Cool.
Are they still looking for more respondents? Is that something that we should think about?
The cutoff date was the 16th of May.
Okay.
Okay,
A plan to get, finalize findings, I think by the end of this month or something, so they're probably like still. But if there's anything you want to put on paper, Alex, I'm happy to pass it along to the people who are working with the consultants.
Okay.
any other new business?
I just have an announcement that the MOD Spring Bulletin included the most recent bulletin included a quarterly tea with MOD. We're going to talk about service animals in public settings. I feel like there's been an uptick of service animals lately, at least from where
Yeah, I think so too. Even in my work, I have
Yeah.
seen a number of requests, increasing requests.
So that webinar is on Wednesday, June 7th from 1 to 2. There is registration required, but I'm planning to attend. If anyone else is interested, please let me know and I'll send you the link.
Yep, and I'm signed up as well.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
Lynn, do you have any
Yeah.
questions?
No, as I said before, the work is fascinating. I would be interested to hear what the results from that survey about transportation in the town are. It just
Great.
seems like the town dynamics are changing so much, with, more older people, more new construction going on. And so it'd just be interesting to see how it's different now.
Great. Kalpana, do you have any questions or comments? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Good
Did you want to
evening.
say? We welcome your comments or questions if you have any.
This transportation, actually, MassDOT has started this different, I would say different town. And for bus 59, the result has come. They will extend at least 1 hour in the evening bus time. So people who are working late night or second shift, as well as they will increase a route between Needham Street, because all the buses are not passing by Needham Street to go to the Watertown, but they are increasing buses this specifically from the Needham Street. So people who are working at the Needham Street or surrounding at Newton, it will be helpful for them to connect the Watertown bus or a Newton bus. That's the update I would like to share with all of you. But thank you for recognizing me.
Thank you.
That
This is
change
great.
hasn't happened yet, but that's coming soon. Is that what you're saying?
June 1st.
June 1st. Great.
Yeah. When the school vacation or the a lot of programs at Boston Common and Gillette and all other places. So they are coming in June 1st, from June 1st.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Any other?
Almost they have come up with the 70 routes of the bus numbers, like a different routes, and a lot of they have made a change, and this was ongoing last, I would say, 6 months online public hearing, so people can participate in person or via Zoom. You can participate, and people have specifically when this red line and has a major issues, and the orange line. So Dorchester and Roxbury must do came up a lot of solution for the frequent of buses. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no other business, then we are finished for this evening until June 19th.
Right, June 20th.
Oh, did I have the wrong date?
It's on the
Um,
agenda as the 19th.
Hold on. Yeah, it is the 20th, Tuesday, the 20th. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Please see the calendar.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, we would take July and August off unless there's a need for a meeting. So that would be, June would be our next meeting, then we take a break and resume in September.
Great.
Okay.
June 20th. Okay. I have to learn how to read a calendar. Thank you, everyone. I'll
All right.
see you in June.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye, good night.
All right, have a good
Thank you.
night. Bye.